And we're on. All right, YouTube, this is Jemmy in Transit. And today, we're going to be doing something a little different. This is going to be answering your guys' questions that you left for me in my Q&A video that I posted several weeks ago that I've been too lazy to get around to. So really, we're just going to jump straight into it here. This is something I've been meaning to do for a while, and I really haven't got around to it. I don't know, because I really didn't think of it. So we're going to answer the burning questions that you guys have for me. So I feel it's only necessary after however long I've been on YouTube, going on 10 years now, like I've mentioned in the past few videos, that you guys probably have a couple questions for me. So I got several questions from about 4 or 5 channels, I think closer to 4. But those channels did have several questions on each comment. So I want to make sure I get to all those. And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask and we can get to them eventually. So Mighty Winter 25 asks, what is your most wanted of all time? I would say this took a lot of thinking, but I came to the conclusion after thinking about it for a while, I've always wanted one of the ogre inflatables or one of the sort of the silicone faced or the plastic face inflatables. I always really like those ones. So I'd really enjoy having one of those silicone face inflatables, especially like the Ghost Face or the Dr. Shivers. I've always really loved those designs. So, and he also said, BTW, this is Air Balloon Madness. So, all right, hey, what's up, man? It's good to hear from you. And we'll move on to the next comment. So this comment also comes from Mighty Winter 25 or Air Balloon Madness. He also asks, what was your best display? And it's kind of a cop-out answer, but I kind of give this answer when people do ask this question, and it kind of gets better and better every year. So there's really not any way I can say what display was better, which one I like the best, because each year's different, each year gets better, there's more lights and stuff like that. So I can't really say that there's one that I liked more than the other. All right, so I just kind of cutting here and there to go back to the questions. I don't have another device I can look at the questions while I'm recording. So I'm just kind of going back to the questions as I cut the video. So very random inflatable channel asks, I'm having to shift positions here because I'm having to hunch down a bit. He asks, what was your first inflatable and do you still have it? The answer is, the answer to the latter is no. My first inflatable was I want to say, it's either 2004 or 2005 Jemmy Red Vest Snowman, not the 8-foot version. It was the, I want to say harder to come by, 4-foot version with one of the little tiny squirrel cage fans, little original cheap fans. And I love that thing to death. I was a little kid. I was maybe if it was 2005, 2004, so I was either 3 or 4. I got it from ShopRite for, I think it was $20. And so pretty much the same that we have now. Some prices never change for stuff like that. And I got it and I loved it so much that I dragged it around by the cord and killed it after about a year. So it's funny, but I do wish I still had it. If I could find another one somewhere, that would be fantastic. So that's pretty much the best answer I can give for that. That was my first inflatable. I would love the 4-foot version and the 8-foot version, but that was that. So very random also asks, what is your favorite and what is your most hated? Most hated should be a fairly obvious question to any of my longtime viewers. I fucking hate the Big Mouth Billy Bass inflatable. I always have. And mainly, I think it's mainly my resentment towards the inflatable. As I cross my arms here, so I'm getting kind of heated about it. Mainly my resentment towards it. That getting that instead of my most wanted fuzzy inflatable at the time was I think it's 8.5-foot fuzzy air balloon inflatable dog from Lowe's 2015. I chose the Billy Bass over that, and I will not ever forgive myself for that. And that, I think, is the main reason I hate it so much. So I never will really forgive myself for that, and that's probably the reason I hate it, among other things, aside from it having no tether attachments, aside from the song being absolutely atrocious. Now, as far as positives go, my favorite inflatable, that's an excellent question. As far as classics go, I think my favorite inflatable would probably be the organ player. And this, the one with the sound box, the 2008 version, the without the head turning, animation. That's the one that I own that I got for free. It's one of my favorites. As far as modern ones go, I love the saxophone snowman that was released this year. I did get my hands on it. I love it. I had, had my eyes on it for a long time, knew I needed to have it. So that, as far as that one goes, favorite for classic and modern, the saxophone snowman and the organ for Halloween. Now, very random, it also has quite a few questions for me. So he also asked, what inflatable this year interests you the most? And I think it just goes back to my previous question that I answered from Very Random Inflatable channel, and that happens to be the saxophone snowman. I think that the biggest thing that intrigues me is if Jemmy can produce inflatables with that type of value for what you get, then why can't they do that with others? I understand that there are licensing, restrictions that, they have to, mark them up because of licensing or whatever, all that shit. But I think aside from it being an awesome inflatable, the value is just incredible what you get for it. So that would be the inflatable that probably interests me most this year. So Very Random also asks, what is your favorite light show inflatable? My favorite light show inflatable, I think I could be a little biased because I consider the only true light show that I own to be the 2007 Jazz Band. And that one would have to be my favorite. I think it's a charming design. I think it's a lovely looking inflatable. And all around, I think it's a really nice design. I think the biggest thing, the reason I like it is because of the value. At least for me, and I say value a lot because I'm kind of a cheapskate when it comes to inflatables, but I did get it for $25, and that's the reason I say value. So now, second to last question from Very Random Inflatable. He asks, what is your favorite holiday for inflatables? It's always been Halloween. I own way more for Christmas, but my favorite has always been Halloween for inflatables. Just because I like the creepier aspect, and Halloween as a whole. I don't like the obligations to, give presents to everybody. I know that sounds very selfish, but I have, a lot of problems with, worrying about what to get people and stuff like that. And instead at this point, I just give people gift cards. But I like Halloween where everybody can come together and enjoy a holiday together without having any obligation to give each other anything or get anything, so I think Halloween is just my favorite for, holidays or inflatables all around. And last question from Very Random Inflatable channel. He asks, what store is your favorite to get inflatables from? And I will always say Lowe's. Lowe's usually gets the best designs. This year being an exception for Christmas. I think Lowe's this year for Christmas is probably the worst year we've had in a long time. Now the best years I think were 2007, 2008, 2012, and 2013. But aside from that, I think Lowe's usually is my favorite place to get inflatables from. And Lego Trolls 213 asks, I forgot already. God damn it. Lego Trolls 213 asked, what was your first inflatable you bought? So how could I forget something like that? Anyways, yeah, just coming full circle to the first question I got from Mighty Winner 25 was, what was the first inflatable you got? And that was the Red Vest Snowman. I got it from ShopRite. I don't know where else it was sold, but that's where I got mine, and I had it for about a year, and it shot out because I abused it. I pulled it around by the cord, but I loved it. I'd actually have my dad hook up a timer to it so it would inflate when I woke up in the morning, and I don't, it's cringe, but that is what I used to do with it. So anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this Q&A. I can do another one in the future if you guys want. If you guys enjoyed this, I can totally do it again. So leave any more questions you guys have for me in the comments, and I'd be happy to get around to them. I love doing these. I love interacting with the fans. So if you guys have any more, just leave them below, and I will be back with more reviews.